Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very common topic that has been asked a lot in our videos by different friends as well and a lot of our subscribers. We stay in this tiny country of Luxembourg, and we do have a lot of people coming to Luxembourg from India through various organizations. What we are going to talk about in this video is what are the things that they need to know or they need to do. So there are 5 main things that we are going to talk about. Number 1, temporary authorization to stay. So before coming to Luxembourg, you need to ensure you get your temporary authorization to stay. That is something mostly your organization that is sponsoring you would be doing for yourself. However, you still need to submit a lot of documents from your end to ensure that the process is carried out by the organization of your choice. Now, one of the key document that is required for applying of the temporary authorization to stay is a PCC or a police clearance certificate. That is something in India you could apply through the same website that we have for a passport application. You can apply through there and you get a PCC. And along with that, there are some common documents that are asked by the organization that generally processes the TWA application, which is temporary work authorization application for you. So once that is done, that you submit all those required documents to that organization and they will process the application for you. Now let's assume that everything is done and your TWA application is completed and you have received it successfully. So then comes the second stage, which is application for a D visa. So the moment you receive your temporary work authorization, you have 60 days to apply for a D visa. A D visa is nothing but a simple visa, but of a different class. Now this visa is different from the normal visitor visa that we have for Schengen, but it's a Schengen visa still, and it is called a D visa. While applying for D visa, there are the normal visa documents that you need. You need your photo, you need your valid passport, you need your bank statements, you need your income tax return proofs, you need your work contract or the employment contract that through which you are going to come to this country. Along with that, you also need your temporary authorization to stay. So basically, temporary authorization to stay is sort of an A4 page of paper, and you are not expected to carry this all to everywhere you go, right? So that is why that information is embedded in your visa, which is stamped on your passport. So that is why that visa is important. Now once you have all the documents ready, you need to apply for application of the D visa. Generally in India, you don't need to visit any of the Schengen countries' embassy. You need to do it through an organization. So generally entire Schengen, they have outsourced it in India to an organization called VFS Global, and they have their offices pretty much all across India, like all the metro cities and the smaller tier 1 and even smaller cities as well. So you take an appointment with the VFS Global, your nearest VFS Global office. In their website, you fill up some basic forms where you give your details, where you want to go, what's your name, date of birth, your passport, and every other details. And along with that, you also get a list of the mandatory documents that you need to carry with you. Now once you have got hold of all those documents, on the day of your appointment, you simply walk into that office. You submit your documents. They at times ask few questions, cross question. It is not an interview. They cross question you to verify that if more documents could be required for you or not. Once you have done, generally, and they will take your photo, and at times, so previously they used to take a biometric, which is your fingerprint. I do not think they do it anymore, but even if they do it there itself. So once that is done, you are free to leave. You leave, and within generally 2 weeks time, max 2 to 3 weeks time, your visa is issued. Now one more important thing you need to ensure here is, or you need to keep in mind is, you need to submit your passport while you are applying for that visa, because that visa would be stamped on your passport. And then there are two options. So one, you could collect, so they would let you know, hey, your visa is done. You could go to their center again and collect it yourself, or they have a chargeable option where you pay a small fee and you tell them, you give them your address, and they courier the passport with the visa stamp to that address. Now both up to you, it's your choice, you can do any one of them. Now let's assume that the second stage is done as well, which is you got your D visa stamped and you have the passport with you. Now the next point, before I go to the next, actually one more point I actually missed is you need to travel, right? So you need to book your flight, you need to travel, and there is nothing to say about how you travel, but what we are gonna focus here is the next or the third more important stage, which starts the moment you land in Luxembourg. So the third one is post arrival. You have to do your declaration of arrival. Now in Luxembourg we have a concept of commune. Commune means it's an administrative office that is responsible for one certain area of the country, right? So those administrative offices are responsible for all sorts of administrative work for the residents of that specific area. So within 3 days of your arrival in Luxembourg, you need to ensure that you walk to your nearest administration office, or the nearest commune office as we say here, and you make a declaration of arrival. It's very simple. You walk in, you take a token, it's like a bank counter. You go in there and you give your details to that person sitting on the other side. You tell them where you come from, and they check your passport and everything, and they make a note of everything in their systems. So that's it. Once that is done, they will give you a printed copy which tells you about all the details of you, and also gives the details around all your date of arrival and everything. So that is what a commune generally does, and that is basically your declaration of arrival, which is needed later. Now after you are done with 3 steps that we are talking about, or you go to the 4th step, which is you select any of the general practitioner in Luxembourg and go to take an appointment, and go to them for a visit and ask them that you need to get your medical checkup done for immigration. Now for residence permit basically. So what they do, they have a very basic pro forma, and where they perform certain tests like your eyesight and your blood pressure, and they will write it down. One copy they will give it to you, and the other they will keep it with themselves on the system, so that they send it to the Ministry of Immigration, who would actually be working on creating or giving you a residence permit or a blue card for some, right? So once you are done with step 4, the next step, or the 5th step is the 5th step is your application for a TB test. So I won't say it a 5th step, rather it's a part of the 4th step itself. So one, you go to the general practitioner to get a normal certificate of your fitness, and similarly you take an appointment for your TB test, so tuberculosis test. So we will be giving all these links in the description box below, so that you know where to refer to, how to take an appointment. So once you have taken your TB test, similarly the TB test results, one copy is given to you or sent to your address, and the other is generally now the medical practitioner with whom you have done your test, plus the one who have done your TB test, they are expected to send these 2 details to the Ministry of Immigration. And that brings to our 5th step, which is residence permit application. Now remember, you have your temporary work authorization that allows you to work for a temporary period of time. You have your D visa that allows you to stay for a temporary period of time, but you are here to stay for a longer time and to work for a longer time. Now combining these 2 and stretching their duration and putting it all together in one place is what a residence card is. A residence card is very simple. It simply just looks like a the size of a credit card. We cannot show you because of we are not supposed to show this, but yeah, it looks just like a simple credit card, and it would have your photo and everything and all your details about you, which would tell you till what date you are eligible to live and work in Luxembourg. Now once you apply for your residence permit, you have to wait. Now that may take some time, for some 1 month, for some 2 months, for some even more than that. Once they have processed your application, they would send a letter to your residence asking you to visit their office. We would give the office address as well, which is the immigration ministry, where you need to go for your photo and for your biometric. Now your photo and biometric would be taken, and that information is also fed in somewhere in your tagged into your residence permit. Once that is done, within maximum 2 weeks, you will get the residence card in your hand, through which you can have your that card acts as basically your residence, your proof of residence, your proof of employment, and also acts as a proof of identity because it also has a photo of you. Now this is the final thing that you need to keep with you, and this is something that you keep on renewing as and when it gets expired based on your job condition. This is something that is very important, because next time when you go out of the country and you are transiting through an airport through which you have to pass through immigration, you won't have a visa, right? Because you do not have a Schengen visa anymore. You don't need a Schengen visa because this residence permit acts sort of as a visa. So in the immigration, they are going to check your passport. Along with that, they are going to check this residence permit as well. So that's about it. These are the top 5 things that we think people need to know about for those who are coming to Luxembourg. Of course, these are for people who are getting sponsored by different organizations. There are different ways of doing it as well. But yeah, this is the most common form. So thank you so much for watching. And once you have done, please do like and comment, and do subscribe to our channel. And also do let us know on the comment section if there is something which you feel is not covered in this document. I would ensure that I make another video to cover all those questions. More than that, we are going to make a series of videos on our life in Luxembourg, how to come, how does the country look like, what it is, what are the available job opportunities, studying opportunities, everything. So please do subscribe and share the word, and thank you for watching.